the story of a school in lockdown, working out every detail of everything. All the questions that would keep us healthy, like will they let us sing?
Here's the story of a school in this one block town, and the acting, dancing, singing we will do. We can dance, yes, but not together. Since March, that's nothing new. So we simply must be very, very careful. And if we see another stepping out of line, we'll remind them that a mask is sexy as much as Otterbein. We're Otterbein. Put on that mask, we're Otterbein. And wash those hands. We're a family all known as Otterbein.
Hi, welcome to Otterbein University and the Department of Theater and Dance's senior launch of the graduating class of 2021. In a normal world, this would be where I thank you for joining us here on campus, welcoming you back to Cowan Hall. But of course, it's not a normal world. But listen, even though launch may look a little different, I promise you the spirit is exactly the same. That spirit of sending a generation of young people, of artists, out into a world with hope and with optimism. Yes, the world looks a little different, but I have so much faith in this class, in this whole generation. What will theater look like on the other side of COVID-19? I don't know, but I do know that it will be reshaped, it will be redefined by the artists you're about to see, by a whole generation of young, creative, vibrant, empathetic, ferocious fighters. The class of 2021 has, they've thrived in the face of insurmountable odds, and they've done so with grace and with empathy and often with a sense of humor. I know I speak for my colleagues when I say that I'm so proud of this class, and I thank you for being here, for your support, for watching, for your continued support in the arts in general. I'd like to thank our corporate sponsors, Oakland Nursery and Overbrook Clinical Associates. And now, without wasting any more of your time, thank you so much. Sit back and enjoy the senior launch of the graduating class of 2021.
It wasn't that long ago when I didn't care about the things I didn't know. It wasn't that long ago when growing up seemed simple, with endless paths for me to go. It didn't seem long, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's other days I can't recall. No, it didn't seem long, but maybe I need new measuring tape. Maybe the wizard should lose the cape, but why should I care about the length if I like the shape? It was crazy, it was wild, but the days never piled. Something had a hold of me, I had to take the dive. It was crazy, it was wild, but you bet I always smiled. It built me up and made me feel alive. It was happiness. Yeah, it was happiness. I wonder why is there so much change? Was I gone so long that now it's wrong for me to stay the same? I'd walk through every door, keep my feet far from the floor. Why can't I feel that anymore? I was crazy, I was wild, I was a child. I need happiness. Maybe I can buy it. I need happiness. The moment went by silent, and I don't know what else I can do. This is happiness.
One of my best days in class was kind of unexpected. I'm such a physical performer, And sometimes I can get really in my head about some of the things that I'm doing. So I was involved in one scene from a rendition of The Seagull, and I had such a sort of internalized monologue that I was really having difficulty with. And then one of my professors, Melissa Lusher, just said, be free with it and roam around the room. And I started to like really invoke all of these physical, guttural kind of reactions that totally changed the piece. And I think from there, I started to realize how much my physical body in the space meant to me and what it meant for my acting from there on.
How do I see theater changing in the future? Well, I see it becoming something that's very different from theater as we know it right now. But in the end, it's going to become something that's more accessible and reaches out to more people than it ever has in the past.
I just fucking killed Chuck, I think. Oh. I mean, he's just laying out there. He's not moving. I don't think he's breathing. I mean, and here I was, just up on the roof with Marissa. Talking, laughing, having a great time. I tell her she reminds me of Sandra Bullock, and I loved Hope Floats. I mean, how was I supposed to know those were the magic words? I mean, next thing I know, her clothes are off and we're loosening roof shingles like there's no tomorrow. You know, if there's biting and kissing and touching, and then someone starts beating on me and just pounding on me and growling. Yeah, growling. So I look up and it's Chuck. And I'm like, what's the problem, dude? And he goes, well, the problem is, dude, you're fucking my girlfriend. And so I look at Marissa and I'm like, you're somebody's girlfriend? And she says, no. Well, then it turns out Chuck just wishes she was his girlfriend, and she's actually like his cousin or something, and he's got all these feelings of guilt about wanting her, and then he starts crying. So Marissa puts her clothes back on, goes back through the window, back into the party, and I'm just left here with Chuck. Blubbering, whining, crying, Chuck. So he starts in on how he's just this total fuck up, and how maybe he should just throw himself off the roof. And for a split second, I'm thinking, yes! Throw yourself off the roof, do it! But I don't say that. I say, it's okay, buddy, you'll get a girl one day, just maybe not your cousin, huh? And I give him a friendly pat on the back, just a nice manly slap on the back, and I mean, he looked heavy. How was I supposed to know he'd go flying off the roof? Who would have thought he'd fly right off the roof?
Actually, I'm enjoying being alone for a while. I am. It's peaceful. Clean. You never get home to find somebody left the dishes in the sink. Or finished watching Game of Thrones without you and then deleted them all. Or ate the whole thing of hummus and then put the empty container back into the fridge as if they didn't notice they'd finished it. They ate the whole thing of hummus without once looking down the container and then seeing it was empty. Oh, and then they just put it back so that you'd think there was still some left if you were counting on that for, oh, I don't know, maybe a little much needed, much deserved post-work snack. Not to mention, who even eats a whole tub of hummus? That's a ridiculous amount of hummus. But now, when I purchase my tub of hummus, there's my hummus in the fridge, waiting for me exactly as I left it. And I can have as much as I want because I'm alone. There's no one else here. I am completely and utterly alone. Except for my hummus. Just me and my hummus.
Hi, everybody. It's Dee Hody, class of Otterbein 1974. You do the math. I'm here today to thank you for your support of the theater and dance department in the past and to urge you to continue supporting them in the future. Contrary to what some people may believe, the arts are not dead. The theater is not dead, New York is not dead, and Broadway is not dead. It may be in disguise for now because we're on a pause, but the students at Otterbein are not on a pause, and they still need our help. I want to urge you to continue helping them get to the senior launch and beyond, because they'll be ready when everything comes back. Be safe, be well, I thank you, and have a great season. I'll see you at the theater.
I think theater in the future is going to be filled with young people based on real stories in a much more intimate and unique and inspiring setting.
Happy launch, y'all! Are we sold out?
That's not really how launch works.
I can't believe college is ending. I'm gonna miss working with you guys.
Well, I didn't say anything before because we agreed not to talk about who is watching.
Is Lily Tomlin watching?
Why would Lily Tomlin watch our launch?
Jordan Donica? Oh, John Comerford! Ricky Garvis?
Did you just say Ricky Garvis?
Yeah, is that not how you say his name? Is it like Ricky Gervais? Jervis? Man, Otterbein will give anyone a degree.
Would you stop? I'm trying to tell you we have a lot of important potential donors. Maybe it isn't our last show.
I don't think that's how launch works.
Are you even in our class? Hey, look, I can fly!
Me too!
This rocks! Hey, we're over Towers Hall!
Wait, Hunter, are you flying as a bit for launch, or is this a part of title of show and the rest of the scene is... I mean, actually, are we doing this just as launch, or as a part of the universe of title of the show, or is the storyline just...
I muted him. Look, it's the cast of the Otter Drag, and there's Helvetica Bold!
It is! It's Helvetica! Jeffrey, say hi to Helvetica!
Hunter, we have to go Zoom with Broadway producers, or launch donors. Frankly, this is so thinly structured.
Someone with money.
Now it's only me and you, all alone for the first time. Isn't it sublime? with no one telling us what to do. What'll we do? We don't have much time to dance in the spotlight, so I'm gonna treasure this Hattie and Susan duet. And now may be the only chance I get tonight to enjoy the pleasure of this invisible cigarette. Ow. Ow. The secondary characters are singing a song while the stars are snacking off screen. It was their idea to bring us along, and now we're hijacking this scene of the script. We're equipped to steer the ship till the strippy skid ends, and by the end of this song, we'll be best friends. I want to apologize for any weirdness. Me too. It can be really scary being the new kid. I bet you bet. I do. I bet. And I also wanted to say that after all we've been through, I'm so glad we met. I feel the same way, baby. The secondary characters are calling the shots while the stars are being stored in the wings. We've been left in charge of it all while the plot's unfolding like the Lord of the Rings. Trilogy, and obey you and me to the very end. And like Frodo and Samwise, you'll be my best friend. My best friend. Sing! Okay, my best friend. Susan and Honey, Susan, Honey. A dream on, a dream on, a dream on.
Wait, guys! What's going on?
Nothing. I was just sitting here minding my business, and then Heidi was all like, "Oh, I love Susan, and
Okay,
Tiger King Netflix party?
send me the link.
You didn't answer my question, Mr. Markley, and I'd really like an answer because let me tell you, I quit school at 15. I went to work at the radium plant because my folks needed the money. At your plant, they told us what to do, when to do it, how to do it. My folks didn't raise me to make trouble, so I didn't make trouble. I never asked questions. How do you get contributory negligence out of that?
As I said before, it's a standard defense.
There's nothing standard about what happened to me.
We deeply regret your situation. But there is no evidence to tie your condition to any actions of the U.S. Radium Corporation.
Then why are you giving me this money?
It's a humanitarian gesture.
A humanitarian gesture. Humanitarian? Month after month, you put us off. Delay after delay, knowing how sick we were, how tired and desperate. Humanitarian? You're waiting for us to die. One by one, I watched my friends get sick and die in the most horrible way. And you think I should be grateful for whatever spare change you throw at me?
If Miss Fryer does not sign within 24 hours, we will be forced to withdraw our offer. Permanently.
You're lying. You're trying to tell me if I don't sign these now, but if I came back a week from now saying that I changed my mind, you'd still rather go to court? You'd still rather some judge get a look at me and take your chances I won't win on sympathy alone? 24 hours. You're just trying to bully me.
Very well then, Miss Fryer. I'll take that as a no. And we'll see you in court.
Yes, you will. You will see me. If they have to carry me in there, you'll see me. You and Mr. Reeder, both.
You call that man back?
I'm going to court, Ma.
Then what are you trying to prove? You know you can't win.
I want those people to look at me. I want them to look at me and explain how it's my fault I got sick working in their factory.
And what'll that get you? What?
Ma. All my life I've done what other people have told me to do. I quit school because you said I should. I put that brush in my mouth because Mrs. McNeil said I should. I never said, please, can't I finish school? I never said, I don't like the taste of this paint, even though I knew. I knew, Ma. I knew something wasn't right. At night, I'd lie in bed and I'd see my dress hanging on the back of the closet door, all aglow. My shoes on the floor, my hairbrush and comb on the dresser. So much light, Ma. So much light. And I never once questioned. I never once asked. Don't you see? They knew I wouldn't. That's what they were counting on.
Really cherish my time at Otterbein, and I think one of the most important lessons I learned at this school is that when you're in a musical, every time before you step on stage, you should always have a friend double check that your wig placement and your wig pinning was done properly, because you might go on stage and you're feeling the spirit and your wig goes flying, and what can you do then? What happened last night? Are you really here? Joan, 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 Joan. Hi, Joan! Don't wake up, Joan. Oh my God, last night. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, last night. I got so excited I was too enthusiastic. Thank you for not laughing. Well, you laughed a little bit. At one point when I was touching you and said I might lose consciousness, I never lost control due to overwhelming lust. But I must say that I'm changing my major to Joan. I'm changing my major to sex with Joan. I'm changing my major to sex with Joan, with a minor in kissing Joan. Am I falling into nothingness or flying into something so sublime? I don't know, but I'm changing my major to Joan. I thought all my life I'd be all alone, but that was before I was lying prone in this storm room bed with Joan. Look, she drooled on the pillow, so sweet, all sweaty entangled up in my bedsheet, and my heart feels complete. I'm changing my major to Joan.
My time at Otterbein has really taught me to overcome challenges, and it's also given me an opportunity to learn that challenges can really elevate a person's work, and I think that's really important when looking at the future of this industry. Despite the challenges that COVID presents, I think that this upcoming generation of artists will be able to find new and exciting ways to produce theater and tell important stories.
What I think is unique to Otterbein's training is that your growth as an individual is a byproduct of the things that you're taught about how to work with others and just strict technique things about playing actions and doing things that take the focus away from yourself. And I think that we really view theater here as a collaborative act, and that has made me love theater even more and be less self-conscious about my own individual way of acting.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh yes, I heard them all. And more, too, for some of them had in them more feet than the verses would bear.
Well, that is no matter. The feet might bear the verses.
Aye, but the feet were lame, and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse.
Trow you who hath done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck? Change you color?
I prithee, who?
Oh, Lord, it is a hard matter for friends to meet, that mountains may be removed by earthquakes and so encounter.
Nay, but who is it?
Oh, wonderful, and most wonderful, and yet again, wonderful, and after that, out of all hoping.
Good my complexion. Dost thou think, though I am caparisoned like a man, that I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly?
Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Well, God will send more, if the man be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard, if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando, that tripped up both the wrestler's heels and your heart, both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak, sad brow and true, maid.
I' faith, cuz, 'tis he.
Orlando?
Ah,
that's the day! What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes him here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth this age's size. To say aye and no to these particulars is more than to answer in a catechism.
But doth he know I am in this forest, and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
It is as easy to count atomies as to resolve the propositions of a lover. But take a taste of my finding him here, and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree, when it drops forth such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along, like a wounded knight.
Pity to see such a sight. It well becomes the ground.
Cry holla to thy tongue. It curvets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous! He comes to kill my heart!
I would sing my song without burden. Thou bringst me out of tune.
Dost thou not know I am a woman? When I think I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out. Soft! Comes he not here?
'Tis he. Slink by and note him.
Mozart was crazy. Black fucking crazy. Bad shit, I hear. But his music's not crazy. It's balanced, it's nimble, it's crystalline clear. Harmony, logic, you listen to these. You don't hear his doubts or his debts or disease. You scan through the score and put fingers on keys and you play. And everything else goes away. Everything else goes away. And you play till it's perfect. You play till you ache. You play till the strings or your fingernails break. So you'll rock that recital and get into Yale. So you won't feel so sick and you won't look so pale. Cause you've got your full ride and you're early admit. So you're done with this school and with all of the shit. And you graduate early, you're gone as of May. And there's nothing your paranoid parents can say. And you know that it's just a sonata away. And you play. And you play. And everything else goes away. Everything else goes away. Everything else goes away.
You bit into watermelon. Juices drip down off your chin to your delight. Never dreamed that it could be so right and taste just like a little slice of heaven. Then you picked up your napkin and you tapped it on your mouth from side to side. Never dreamed that such an act could drive my senses wild. I wished I was watermelon or any other kind of fruit you'd consume, dragon, grape, or passion. Oh yes, I'm feeling fine, my dear, but thank you for asking. We talked all through the morning, and we kissed right from the early afternoon till the sun set on a sea so blue, replaced by the moon and music for dancing. And in the wee small hours, me and you stuck like glue, lost in our romancing. Oh yes, I'm feeling fine, my dear, but thank you for asking. Come the morning, we'll begin again. I'll kiss your skin with an educated fashion. Oh yes, I'm feeling fine, my dear, but thank you for asking.
One of my best classroom moments at Otterbein was in the spring of my sophomore year. I had this teacher I was kind of afraid of because he expected a lot from us, and he's not afraid to be blunt when we haven't reached his expectations. So one day I came in and I sang The Sound of Music in class, and he did have criticisms and helped me make it better, but then he told me that I'd taken a song that had always bored him and made him love it. So I guess I realized that instead of being afraid of the things that I could screw up and the people who would tell me when I did, I could just seize every opportunity to be exciting and to move people.
All right. Are we streaming? Dennis, I can't see anything. Oh. I love children, so of course it fell on to me to do the children's devotional for tonight. So children, scoot up to the edge of your pews, turn your little cameras on. This one's for you. The other night, I was sitting out on my back porch having a nice cold glass of delicious lemonade when, whoop, something plopped right into my nice glass of lemonade. Now, can anybody guess what plopped into my glass? It being June and all? Go ahead and unmute. A June bug, that's right. And while I was digging around for his little drowning body, the Lord, in his wondrous way, spoke to me. And he said, think on that June bug. So I did. And God in his wisdom helped me see that we too, all of us, are like June bugs in this life, flying aimlessly, hitting the screen doors of life, and drowning in the refreshments. Now the Lord was speaking to me so loud and clear that I made Burl put on his shoes and go out and trap me a couple of June bugs for our lesson tonight. Now, if I open my jar up like this, the June bug will fly away. Whoa, 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 look at that, look at him go. Just like a sinner. No purpose, no direction, doomed to an unhappy end. But what happens if we tie a little thread to the old June bug's back leg? You ever done that? Well, I know you have. What happens if we let him go? Oh, look at that! He's flying perfect circles around my head, just like a Christian. Now, which June bug would you rather be? This nice June bug flying in perfect circles, or a nasty June bug flying around helter-skelter getting into God knows what? Nobody? Well, I think I know the answer. And I'm here to tell you that Jesus wants to run a thread from his mighty hand to the hind leg of your soul. And it'll get stronger and stronger and thicker, and we will fly in perfect circles around God's head in this hateful world and in the glorious world he has prepared for us beyond. Ow! Ow! Ow!
My best day in class would probably have been sophomore year with Melissa Lusher. Prior to that class, I really wanted to be like a serious professional actor. And I was given this role, Eddie, in Fool for Love. We were working on a scene, and I was like really in my head and I couldn't get out. And we ended up doing some animal work that day, where we all take on an animal and we are that animal for all of class, interacting with each other and just doing crazy things that animals do. And it got me completely out of my head and helped me to find the love and the fun in acting again, and helped me realize that we're just playing pretend, and that's fun and that's good.
Peter and the Starcatcher was one of my favorite shows growing up. It was actually one of the first shows I saw with my family, and we just totally fell in love with it. And I was lucky enough my freshman year for it to be one of the first scenes I visited at my time at Otterbein, with someone who I just met then, Trevin Parker, who soon became one of my best friends. I couldn't think of a better way to finish my senior year than to revisit a scene near and dear to my heart with one of my best friends. I hope you enjoy it.
He spark out.
Peter! Oh, Peter,
The most incredible thing you won't believe. I met this.
Well, good to see you, Peter. Shall we wake the boys?
Been kind of a long day. Leave them be.
Just us, then?
Yeah, just us. Do you think I've changed?
You're dirtier.
So, I've been meaning to ask you about about that thing you did.
What thing?
The kiss, okay? The kiss.
What kiss?
The kiss? The one you gave me!
Oh, the kiss.
What kiss, she says?
Well, what about it?
Nobody's ever wanted to kiss me before,
Wanted
that's all.
to. I didn't want to. We're
I mean,
about
I
to
was
be
just
eaten
sitting there and then
alive
you grabbed
oh, for
me and-
heaven's sake, such a fuss. Didn't you like it?
Oh, I didn't. I'm not saying...
You didn't like it. And now you're telling me you didn't like it. Unbelievable.
I'm not saying I didn't like it.
Then what are you saying?
I guess I'm saying... I guess I'm asking if you want...
stop that right now. I won't answer any such question. You're inclining toward the sentimental, and that's all well and good for a boy, but...
Inclining toward what?
Us girls can't afford to be sentimental. We must instead be strong. And when I marry, I shall make it very clear.
Marry? Well, you thought I was asking you to...
you swat. Ugh, the ego. And when I marry, I shall make it very clear to this person that sentimentality is not on the calendar. He'll have to lump it or leave it. And if he should leave, then I'll stay a spinster and tie my hair back and volunteer weekends at hospital. And I'll love words for their own sake, like hyacinth and Piccadilly and onyx. And I'll have a good old dog and think what I like. And be a part of a different sort of family. Of friends, you know? People who understand that things are only worth what you're willing to give up for them. Even if I, in the face of death, may have, you know...
Wanted to?
I didn't say that.
Got it.
Good.
Wow.
What I loved about Master Hero and the Boys? Everything. I mean, I loved my actors that I was working with, our technicians, the director, I love you, Melissa Lusher, and most importantly, the meaning of the story. I love that we can all come together no matter what race, religion, creed, age, and dance as one. When you're dancing, there's no collisions out there. Nobody trips or stumbles or bumps into anybody else. That is what that moment is all about. To be one of those finalists out there on the dance floor is like being in a dream in a world in which accidents don't happen. And it's beautiful because that's the way we want life to be like. But instead, like you said, we're bumping into each other all the time. Open up a newspaper and what do you read? America has bumped into Russia. England is bumping into India. Rich man bumps into poor man. Those are big collisions. People get hurt in all that bumping and we're sick and tired of it now. It's been going on for too long. Are we never going to get it right? Learn to dance life like champions instead of always being a bunch of beginners at it. And that's why there's only standing room left in the Cemetery Hall for 2 weeks' time. But as long as the music lasts, we are going to see 6 couples get it right, the way we want life to be like. But you know, I don't know if that's the best we can do, but it starts with that. Without the dream, we won't know what we're going for. And I reckon there are a few people who have gotten past just dreaming about it and are trying for something real. Remember Mahatma Gandhi going without food to stop the riots in India? He was certainly trying to teach people how to get the steps right. And you know, when it comes to think of it, that's what the United Nations boils down to. A dancing school for politicians. And let's hope they get the steps right. But imagine a world without collisions.
What I learned here at Otterbein, which I only could have learned here, is that This is my home. The people that I've met here support me so much and accept the parts of me that I didn't even know existed. I love it here and I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. And I'll miss it.
What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. It's just, my life is worse than yours. I mean, so much worse, and you don't see me wearing black. I mean, sometimes, but it's not like a thing. But Jesus, my life is way worse than yours, you know?
How is that even possible?
I'm poor.
I'm poor.
I'm way poorer and lonely and sad most of the time. And I tutor kids for tests I utterly don't believe in, which is just insane.
Well, I'm a cook. Part-time, that's not even a real job anymore. I mean, what is this?
I have flat feet, which hurt, you know, all the time. Plus, I'm an orphan, so, you know, that's unsettling.
What are we, in a fucking Dickens novel?
I'm unhappy in love. I'm unhappy in love. I mean, you know I love you ridiculously, and you know, barely tolerate me, but mostly I'm just really, really poor and sad and lonely and anxious all the time, and I'm sorry, but that's much harder than you mourning your lonely, lost, whatever. But I'm still, whatever, hopeful. I still have hope, you know?
So we went to this wedding. I didn't even buy new pantyhose. I just found something in the back of the closet and Peg dug something up, and off we went to the Seaview Jewish Community Center in Canarsie. We all became enchanted by this wedding, and when the lights came up, I had never seen anywhere as beautiful as the Seaview Jewish Community Center in Canarsie. And when my parents walked my brother in, and they stood under the huppah, I cried, because when I looked at my father, all I saw was the soul of this little old man who had lost his parents and his family and his culture and his home, and it's all gone forever. And this is the closest that he's ever going to come to it again. And it wasn't enough. And it was too much for me, and so I cried. My father has lived in Lansing for 40 years. He eats his dinner in front of the TV. He takes a cardiac fitness class at the community college. His life is like a translucent overlay that doesn't quite match up. The edges are blurred. But when we got to Germany, my father was home. People gave us feather beds to sleep in and drove us wherever we needed to go, and he was home. He's in context here. I thought he's in focus. When I was in school, they told us if we're standing next to a piece of furniture on stage, we should put our hands on it, because it will make you appear bigger. I'm putting my hands on my father's life.
You're so neat. You're such a neat guy. I wish I would have known you when I was little. Not real little, but at that age when you start finding stuff out. When I was cracking rocks open to look at their sparkles inside. I bet you would have protected me. People were always giving me crap. You know what? Once I was in a play. I was real glad I was in a play, because I thought they were just for pretty people, and I had my dumb eye patch and those metal plate shoes to correct my duck foot. It was The Ugly Duckling, and I really dug that because of the happy ending. And I got to be the ugly duckling, and I had to wear some old tattered black cloth and get crap flung at me, but I didn't mind, because I knew at the end I'd get to be that pretty swan and all. But you know what they did? At the end of the play, I had to kneel on stage and cover my head with a black shawl. And this real pretty blonde girl rose up behind me as the swan. It was really crappy, man. I mean, I never got to be the swan. I paid all my dues and up rose Ballerina Kathy like the North Star. And afterwards, all the parents could talk about was how pretty she looked. Boy, I ran to my hideout and I cried and cried. The lousy jerks. I wish you were around then. I bet you would have protected me.
Why are you telling me my new philosophy? The teacher gave a D on last week's homework. She said, Miss Sally Brown, your grades are going down. I could have told her.
Your new philosophy.
My new philosophy, Miss B. I'm she. Look, C. A D. A D. Well, why are you telling me? And that's my new philosophy. Just like a busy bee, each new philosophy can fly from tree to tree and keep me moving. When life's a dizzy maze on alternating days, I choose a different phrase.
Your new philosophy.
My new philosophy.
Sally, some philosophies are simple. Man does not live by bread alone. Some philosophies are clear.
Leave your message at the sound of the tone.
Some philosophies pick and choose, deciding what goes in it. Some take a lifetime.
Mine take a minute.
But Sally, anything that takes only a minute can't be very long-lasting. For instance, Beethoven took over 2 years to complete his brilliant Ninth Symphony.
No.
I can't stand it!
I can't stand it! I like it! It's like a guarantee. My new philosophy. And things are sure to be a whole lot brighter. I can't stand it! No! Are you telling me now life is free and easy? Much more philosophy with my brand new. Clearly, some philosophies are not for all people. And that's my new philosophy!
Hello everyone, my name is Daria Pilar-Reedus. I'm a graduate of Otterbine's Theater and Dance Department, class of 2018. You might recognize me from productions of Tap Girls, Rumors, Brighton Beach Memoirs, and A Grand Night for Singing. And it is with overflowing love and pride for my alma mater that I speak to you about the importance of this year's senior experience, specifically the senior launch. As most of you guys are aware, senior year at Otterbein is such a vital time for the performance majors. We prep tirelessly for our move to New York City to knock out our industry showcase where we perform for talent agents and managers and casting directors, and then we begin to work on our professional careers. Fortunately, my class in 2018 got to perform our showcase as planned in New York City on the set of Jerry Springer the Opera, while excelling in various casting internships throughout the biggest casting offices in the city. But that's not the case for this year's class. At no fault of their own, this year's seniors just cannot safely make it to New York City to gather and perform per usual. So what are we gonna do? And why is there even still a need to raise money? Well, luckily, the department has a plan. Otterbein's theater department has partnered with the Growing Studio in order to safely bring these industry professionals from New York, Chicago, and LA to Columbus. This effort gives these hopeful students at Otterbein the chance to perform for agents and managers and casting directors after all, as well as, receive feedback and participate in workshops. So not only will this new setup let the students excel despite the limitations set upon them this year, they'll come out of the experience even more prepared for this constantly evolving and changing industry by working with these professionals that are directly in the heat of it. The arts have just taken such a huge hit during the pandemic. There are over 80,000 artists on Broadway alone. They are suffering from this unexpected and sudden lack of work, including myself. I was laid off from my first national tour, and they still need you. And we all still need the confidence to persevere in order to come back to this industry post-COVID, prepared, full on, and better than ever. This generation of artists is so strong and so resilient, and we owe it to them to stand by their side and show them as much support and encouragement as we can. Thank you for hearing me.
I'll never be a knight in armor with a sword in hand, or a kamikaze fighter. Don't count on me to storm the barricades and take a stand or hold my ground. You look at me like I don't make sense, like a waste of time, like it serves no purpose. Well, I am no prince, I am no saint, and if that's what you believe you need, you're wrong. You don't need much, you need someone to fall back on. And I'll be that, I'll take your side if I'm the only one. I'm used to that. I've been alone, I'd rather be the half of us, the least of you, the best of me. And I'll be your prince, I'll be your saint. I will go crashing through fences in your name. I will, I swear, I'll be someone to fall back on. Your prince, your saint, the one you believe you need. I'll be someone to fall back on. Someone to fall back on.